On the topic of following people that, whose content you appreciate, whose creative vision you admire, who you take inspiration from, and then later being disappointed by them, like this was a really tough day for me because one of the content creators I follow, so Libs of TikTok just got spotted at January 6th, and this is just like a really difficult time for me just to see that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
This impression I had of her, just unravel.
It's just couldn't even imagine. Can't even imagine that she'd be the kind of person that she would be the kind of person to disrespect the Capitol building like that. It's unbelievable.
It's a little crumb of coup. She wanted to have a little crumb of coup, not a full coup, just a little crumb of coup.
It's incredible. She does like the face size reveal. Hey, I'm on Tucker Carlson. We're making fun of Taylor Lorenz. Here's me. Here's my face. And like within 24 hours, it's like, oh, hey, here she is at the January.
One of the best this years.
It took 5 hours. It took 5 hours.
It's so funny.
It was amazing. One amazing takeaway from the Tucker Carlson face reveal segment as well, just how unbelievably uncharismatic she is too. It's like fucking
so
Jesus.
Boring.
You keep it behind the anonymous Twitter account.
All I could think of is like this helps us broadly speaking. If you are like a pro LGBTQ plus activist or on that side of the fence, it's wonderful that she is so incredibly boring. It was like you could tell Tucker, who has a lot of media experience, was trying to carry the weight of this interview and just like giving her so many softballs and like, why are you so incredible? Why are you so great? Why are you the greatest thing that's ever existed? They made up this whole lie that she didn't use social media before, and she's like this savant who cracked the code. It's like it's amazing. Someone who didn't use social media is now the greatest account on social media, and you're listening to this like that's not true. No, she was on social media, she just sucked at it. The other projects never took off until she got the Babylon Bee money. That's the actual thing. The founder of the Babylon Bee injected a whole bunch of cash into the Libs of TikTok project because she was willing to go the slanderous and libelous route. No one else was straight up being like, this gay person is a pedophile, this gay person is a pedophile, this trans teacher is a
Here's
pedophile,
where they work.
This doctor is a pedophile, here's where they work, here's their address, here's their phone number, find them, tell them your opinions, call in bomb threats. Well, I didn't actually say that one, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like,
if you do, I'm not going to be mad about
it. She's yes, absolutely, or backpedal, or be like, did I do that? Kind of shit. Wow. But she is so fantastically boring. I was like, I understand completely why. Like Matt Walsh is the same problem. He is of the worst in terms of just like extremists, but he's also fantastically boring. So he makes up for how boring he is and how gross he is, by the way. It's not really mainstream to be like 16 years old is the ideal age of impregnation for females and all this weird shit. That's weird. Like even mainstream conservatives are kind of like, you don't say that part out loud. So he's so boring, so he has to act so horrifying, and that's now I see this the same thing with Chaya. She's just that boring, and that's why she's so unbelievably hate-filled.
I guess you touched on the really frustrating thing about this. I mean, one of many very frustrating things is like not only like we can and should talk about how boring and fucking uncharismatic these people are, but it's frustrating that regardless of that, they just have this endless supply of right-wing dark money with which they can spread this kind of stuff. And that's the thing. I think we can and should make fun of that appearance on Tucker Carlson today, but you dig into like the actual rhetoric of what's being said on there, it's still the same extremely dangerous stuff in trying to incite violence with these marginalized communities, just straight up framing gay and trans people, teachers, doctors, and nurses giving gender-affirming care, just straight up framing them as being groomers and pedophiles, and it's really sick. This is a incredibly huge media platform that this person has, and is being amplified on Tucker and all these other places. And like this is when you dig into the rhetoric, like you know what I mean. We can and should make fun of these people, but it's still extremely fucked up and dangerous stuff that they're out there saying.
I'll tell you what scared me is how normalized it's become for someone like Tim Pool to say shit that like it would have been seen as utterly abhorrent maybe like 5 years ago, but like right after the Colorado shooting, right, in which 5 people lost their lives, 2 of them being trans people, immediately turning the rhetoric into the whole like there's no thoughts and prayers anymore. There's no like we're gonna so we offer thoughts and prayers, our condolences. He was straight up doing fuck around and find out. He was tweeting that was a grooming event. What did you expect was going to happen if they were grooming children? And he was like, people were calling for wood chipper. What did you expect? I was like, this is wild. This has been normalized. This is like one of the largest political channels on YouTube, and he's saying shit that would have been seen as, again, beyond the pale just a few years ago. They've gone so far into the trans, gay, just LGBTQ in general is evil, gay, it's indoctrination, we have to eliminate them. Like the rhetoric is just, it's turned up so fast.
Rob, you were tweeting earlier And I think to just put a pin in that, a lot of this comes down to content moderation on these platforms. And who can say these types of things, who can broadcast these types of things. And it seems like if you're on the right, once you hit a certain threshold, profitability-wise, they just don't care. Or they'll find ways to avoid taking down your content or demonetizing. I mean, Crowder built up his empire saying the most heinous shit. And it took a very long time for them to ever demonetize just a couple different things. And it was when he was just engaging in this relentless harassment campaign of Carlos Maza, even to the point where he was selling merch calling him a slur. But Rob, you got flagged on YouTube for talking about how heinous some of this content was.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, they just randomly came after an older video on my channel today. It's a couple of strikes I've got now. Because number one, the first strike I got for this kind of thing was on January 6th. I did a whole live stream that day covering the events from beginning to end, and uploaded it on YouTube. And they ended up removing it from YouTube because in the big wake of that, when all of a sudden they had to pretend to be responsible, we're taking down all this misinformation, and they just basically deleted everything that had any reference to any of these QAnon theories or the stuff going on about election theft going into January 6th. Even my content, which was just watching it and making fun of it and this is what these people believe, that was flagged. And then the video that was taken down today was just this other video where I think shortly after that they thought that Trump was going to be like inaugurated secretly, or there was some secret plot. And I'm just covering this stuff, making fun of it and talking about what these people believe. These are theories that YouTube itself has themselves spread all over the internet, melted people's brains with this kind of endless lunatic conspiracy theory stuff, profited from it immensely. And when I make, and Lance, I know you have experience with this as well. When I make content saying look at what these wackos believe, they're like, oh, that's a it was actually a harassment. They came with a harassment warning on my YouTube account. So yeah, it's frustrating, just the total hypocrisy, especially, when you have people at this big storyline right now about social media and how it's only ever censors these right-wing views, when, as we all know, the opposite is true. It promotes these right-wing views endlessly and profits from it immensely.
Oh, Libs of TikTok got special privilege.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what one of the Twitter files revealed, that was an account in which you couldn't take action on without contacting the highest levels of their security team. As in, yes, they were aware of Libs of TikTok, and they were also aware of the danger of the, I'm not going to mince words here, stochastic terrorism that higher right check is involved in, and then the real-world results that was having, and then it would be like, all right, they were going to time the account out, little 7-day suspension, another little teeny suspension here. Hopefully she'll learn her lesson. And then she's like, oh yeah, I definitely won't do that again. Wrong! Here's the hospital and the address, and here's the email and the phone number. They're grooming kids. Get there, hurry, kind of shit. I've had 2 YouTube channels deleted off the internet because of mass flagging campaigns, falsely mass flagging my videos, and I've also permanently lost the video where I trolled the anti-vax trucker rally in Canada because I was just walking around making fun of them, right? I was like, Justin Trudeau is putting his cum in the vaccine. Don't drink his cum. It's gonna fucking poison us all. I refuse to drink his cum.
I actually believe that one.
Filming it though.
That's true.
Thank you for listening to this sample of the Insurgents podcast. To hear the rest of this episode and for more bonus content, please subscribe at theinsurgents.substack.com.